For this trick, I would take a blindfold, and I would blindfold myself, and I would instruct the spectator, go ahead and give the cards a shuffle. Once you have done that, I want you to deal 4 piles with 5 cards in each pile. So let's say they do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 piles with 5 cards each. The rest of the deck they can get rid of. Out of these piles, I would then instruct them to go ahead and pick up a pile and remember a card. Now, I don't want to know the pile or the card, so while blindfolded, I'm going to turn around. So let's say they pick up this one, and they remember the Queen of Hearts. So Queen of Hearts is their selection. So then, I would say, okay, once you're done, you're going to tell me to turn around. So they would tell me to turn around. I would say, okay. Now the pile with your thought of card, place it into my hand. So they would take this pile, they would place it into my hand. I would say, okay. So these are the other 3 piles. And they would say, yes. I would say, okay. Now we're going to take this pile here. Now I'm blindfolded, so I can't see anything. And I'm just going to spread these out. Now I'm going to start dealing the cards onto each of the piles here. I would say, okay, I want you to look through each pile, and the pile with your thought of card, I want you to go ahead and remember which pile that is. So they would start here. I would show. It's not there. And they would be looking through. And they would see it's in here. So once they're done going through the rest of these, just to confirm their selection couldn't be in any other pile, they would then tell me that their card is in this pile. So they will go ahead and hand that to me face down. I would say, okay. Now I want you to point to 2 other piles, say these 2. I would say, okay, the piles you didn't point to, get rid of. They would take these, and they would get rid of them. I would say, okay. So now, hand me one of the piles you chose to keep. They would hand me this one. I would say, do you want this on top or the bottom? Say they want it on top. Say, okay. Hand me the remaining pile. Do you want this one on top or the bottom? Say top. Say, okay. Now we're going to deal 2 piles here. I would instruct them, point to a pile. Say they point to this one. I'll say, okay. Now we're going to deal these again. I would like for you to point to a pile. Say this one. I would say, okay. Now we're left with 3 cards. So as I just move these to the bottom, I just want you to say stop. Say they call out stop. I would say, okay, we'll get rid of that. So now, I want you to say stop again. Stop. Get rid of. So now, there's 1 card left, and I would explain to them, remember, you thought of a card, you chose a pile, we dealt a bunch of piles, and you eliminated a bunch of cards. What was your card? They would say Queen of Hearts, and I would show them the Queen of Hearts. Okay, so that is the tutorial. So the thing about this trick that is gonna be different than the rest of my videos is because this was actually requested to me by a subscriber. So I'm going to leave him in the description and in the pinned comments. His name is Shawn McDowell. I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. But he told me about this trick from the Totally Magic YouTube channel. So this is the Blind Magic card trick by Benjamin Lewis. I'm going to try to explain this the best I can. I'm also going to leave Totally Magic's video in the description and comments. So starting off this trick, what you need to do is the deck can be shuffled. you can be blindfolded or you don't have to, it doesn't matter. Once they're done shuffling, they're going to make 4 piles with 5 cards each. They're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 cards with 4 piles, with 5 cards each. After that, they will point to a pile to remember. And I'm blindfolded and turned around, or you don't have to be. So let's say they remember this pile, so they pick it up, they go through and they remember a card. Now you don't know the pile or the card, so let's say the King of Diamonds they remember. So I'll say, okay, now with that pile, I want you to go and place it in my hand, so they do that. Now you want this to look really casual, like you're just collecting the piles and doing nothing. But essentially, out of the other 3 piles they choose, or they don't have to, essentially this pile with their thought of card is going to end up in the middle. So let's say they point to this pile. I'll place the pile on top. I'll say point to another pile. They want this one. I'll place it on top. So now their card is right in the middle of the packet. So with the remaining cards you have, you're going to spread them out. So essentially you're going to have 5 piles here. Big pile in your hand. You're going to deal a card onto each of these cards to make a pile. So what I mean by that is just like this. You're going to be dealing 1 card onto each pile until all the cards are gone. So let's say like that. So now they're just going to look through each pile and find their card. So we know our card is the King of Diamonds. So we look through. We know it's here. So after they're done looking, you're now going to remember something in your head called 1, 2, and 3. So essentially, black 9s and black 6s. You know their card is in this pile, so they're going to hand it to you. You ask them, point to 2 more piles to keep. Let's say they want these 2. Say, okay, the other 2 you can get rid of. So they get rid of these. And now this is where the 1, 2, or 3 comes in. You ask them, do you want this pile on top or on the bottom? Now if they want it on top, that's fine. You do that. The remaining pile, you ask, do you want it on top or bottom? Now if they want it on top, you're going to remember 1, 2, 3. Their card is in the 3rd packet down. Let me do that again. They want this one on the bottom. They want this one on the bottom. Well, now their card is on top, because this is the 1st packet their card is in. 1, 2, and 3. Say they want it like this. A pile on top and a pile on the bottom. So then you would remember 1, 2, their card is in the 2nd packet, 3. Okay, so that's essentially all it is. So let's say we have their pile on top. So this next part is Magician's Choice, essentially. So you're going to be dealing the piles, and the pile to your left will be all even. So you're going to get rid of them. So their pile card is always going to be on the right. Okay, so you know King of Diamonds. So I keep that face up so you can see how this works. So you can do Magician's Choice. Have them point to a pile. They point to this one, get rid of it, keep this one. They point to this pile with their card, keep it, and get rid of this one. So either way, you're going to keep this pile. So then I'm going to deal again, and you're always going to get rid of the left pile. So they point to a pile. They want this one, get rid of and keep this one. They want this one, you keep it and you get rid of this one. So either way, you're going to be keeping the right pile. So get rid of these. So now their card would be face down, but I turn it face up just so you can see how that works. So now with their card on top, you can essentially do anything you want to force them to choose their selection. So what Totally Magic did, and what I did was, card is on the top, so you start dealing cards to the bottom. They say stop, get rid of that card, keep on dealing. They say stop, get rid of the bottom card, and keep their selection. Now, if their selection is on the bottom, they say stop, get rid of this top card, and keep this selection. If you go this way, so their selection's in the middle, you can get rid of that top one, get rid of that bottom one, and keep their selection. So play around with it, it's really easy. Their selection can be on the top, you just want to keep track of it and get rid of those two other cards. One more way you could do it is you could mix up the cards. Just remember where their card is, load it on the bottom, have them make a fist, so put it between their fist or their knuckles, and you can slap the cards, be left with one, and you can end up with their card. So either way you want to do it, you can do that. So that was the trick. I hope that made sense. That was Blind Magic by Benjamin Lewis by the Totally Magic YouTube channel. My subscriber, Shawn McDowell, in the description and in the comments. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. It's going to be from another subscriber, but this one's going to be totally different. So I think you'll like it. And I think that'll do it from me. So if you have any video suggestions of what you would like to see, you can put in the comments. I read all the comments and I subscribe and I reply to everyone. That was what I was trying to say. So that'll be it. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn that bell on, and I'll see you next time. Bye.